Hello everyone, this is Nabil Salam, also known as the Noble Player, and today I want to talk about a story that is actually really important to me, and I'm sure it's important to many of you guys, especially if you have major concerns about the video game industry in this current generation. Let's get this video started. So, video games in this current generation, specifically with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, have been very troubling for like video game industries and companies. Where they make a lot of these major moves that actually worries the fans or the customers, and those decisions are actually probably leading to a lot of us feeling like there's going to be like a video game crash. And actually, this generation alone, we've had so many video games that not only are they very expensive now, we have a lot of games that are like broken and completely lacking sufficient content at launch. We also have things, for example, like video game layoffs that are taking place because of a lot of really bad studio decisions, in my opinion. We also have here this story actually from last week. It was an incredible disaster where this studio actually are being hired by game companies to actually push like diversity and representation over, actually make quality video games that actually give you the best type of gameplay experience you can have. This is a studio where what they'll do is they'll actually force and actually threaten companies to push a sense of social agendas. Otherwise they'll actually impose the idea that being called an ist or an ism is more important than actually losing money. I'm really glad a lot of YouTubers that I know and a lot of customers and fans like myself are rejecting this garbage. I actually recommend, if you go on the Steam page, you can actually follow this hashtag actually, and they'll show you games that they're involved with that, like, no, they are more focused on pushing a weird agenda as opposed to actually telling, a good video game, making it fun for the players. But the story I want to get into today is how these companies like PlayStation or Xbox, they're thinking about the idea about going to an all digital future. They want to move actually in that direction. And that actually kind of worries me. So one thing you have to know about me before I actually get into this article is I'm actually a huge fan of collecting physical media when it comes to my movies and video games. I have hundreds of discs that I actually keep inside of my drawers, for example. I love the idea about, preservation. I'm a huge fan of like having the best quality possible when it comes to playing your games or your movies that are actually on a disc, as opposed to, having your digital copies, for instance. I love the idea that when I was much younger, I loved, trading video games or selling video games to my friends, family, or other customers actually, with things that maybe I don't really want to use anymore, for example. It's a great way to hold on to things that you love, and I don't want to think about, being tied down or trusting against a company that's more likely to maybe take it away from you because of digital media rights. Largely, due to like licensing reasons, or God forbid, like censorship. I hate censorship, but that's a whole other topic for another day. So let's get ready into this article. PlayStation keeps reminding us why digital ownership sucks, and it's not just PlayStation, but we'll get to that in a second. In less than a week, Sony has given us two timely reminders of the 10 years of digital ownership, and both reminders involve things on PlayStation. Last week, Sony had said because of content licensing agreements, users will not be able to purchase discovery content like movies or TV shows. They purchased and that the content will be removed from the libraries as of December 31st, 2023. Now, it's kind of weird. If there are people out there who used to buy like movies or TV shows on a PlayStation, but the idea about discovery content, for example, the idea that a streaming service is able to actually be gone, for instance. This can also apply for things like when you go to Amazon Prime or you go to Netflix, for example. The way you want to have an access to watch your movies and TV shows. This one is really important. Just a few days ago, on Monday, many users were unexpectedly banned from the PlayStation Network's account, meaning that not only were they blocked from playing multiplayer games or using cloud streaming, but they were also locked out of games they purchased digitally from Sony's PlayStation Marketplace. Affected users who may have spent years building a robust digital library were suddenly left without access to content they had bought through no fault of their own. It appears that Sony has since restored account access to people who were accidentally banned, but the company hasn't explained what happened or said how it might prevent similar unexpected bans in the future. So essentially, there was like a bug that took place where a lot of people who buy games digitally from the storefront were not able to access the games. They receiving, an error that they're not allowed to get into it because, the fact that it requires, when you buy a digital game, it requires permission from the company to actually let you play their content if you decide to buy it from their digital storefront, as opposed to on disc where you actually have the disc and you actually just plug it in, for instance, and you can just play it like that. The ephemerality of digital ownership isn't a new issue, even though downloading and accessing digital content is often easier than trudging to a retail store to buy a physical copy of a game. That's something that I hear a lot of my friends who do like to buy their games or buy movies digitally, for example. You're putting your faith in the platform holders. You're putting your faith in the platform holders to maintain the digital storefronts, the content on those storefronts, and the account systems so that your access keeps working. So even like your account that you have, for example, that also can be taken away from having any access to play video games or to watch movies, for instance. Oh, here we go. The recent closure of the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS eShops was a stark reminder that companies have the power to decide when you can buy digital content. This was actually a really big story from last year, actually 2 years ago, when they first announced that they were going to close the Wii U and 3DS eShops. And then what happened was they actually closed down last March, in March of 2023. That was a huge blow to a lot of people because a lot of people, a lot of people have the games on the Wii U and the 3DS, for example, and a lot of those games, for example, even are not over to the Nintendo Switch yet. That's kind of what the Switch wants to do nowadays. I think they want to port their Wii U and 3DS games to the Switch, sell them off for like $60, and there you go. That's how new players can come in and gain access to their games. While you can still re-download Wii U and 3DS games that you purchased, it seems inevitable that Nintendo will stop letting you do that one day. It's already planned to shut down online services on those platforms after all. This also, for instance, was a big story just last week as well, when we had, emulators, for example, like Yuzu and Citra. These were, Nintendo Switch and 3DS emulators, respectively. They got shut down by Nintendo because they were sued actually by Nintendo because of the way they were prioritizing emulation of their games, and they called it like as if it's illegal. Now, I'm not getting into that whole story today necessarily. That could be another topic for another day, but that is something about the idea why people like to emulate old video games, because a lot of games again are very expensive, and a lot of games they don't have a lot of access to on modern platforms. And so what do I think about this whole situation based off of that article? I mean, I know it's inevitable that we are going to be getting into an all-digital future down the line. We've already seen PlayStation and Xbox, this generation, they put out their consoles with an all-digital version compared to their disc versions. And then also along the lines with a lot of these video game stores, they've been trying to decrease actually the amount of physical copies that they can bring. These companies want to push their PlayStation Plus and their Xbox Game Pass, where customers will actually subscribe to their service, so you'll be able to actually rent or buy their games on their platform. So that way you'll be able to play these games as long as your account is still active, for example, and it does not expire. I think actually I made this theory actually a while ago, that in the next generation we get the PS6 and you get also the Xbox Series Y. I think that's what they'll probably call it. We're just gonna have all digital consoles. We'll never have any disc options or disc alternatives down the line. Nintendo might be the last one. However, because the Switch is meant to be more played with like a tablet and to play on TV wherever you wanna go. Most players that I know, customers, they actually buy the games on digital as well. I think that once those platforms start to become full digital, I think a lot of modern video gamers like myself, for example, we just will not play any new video games, or we'll just probably end up going to Steam, honestly, because Steam, while not perfect in my opinion, they have a much better customer service line in terms of how you actually can own the games as opposed to other platforms who want to be holding you to that. So it's kind of sad, but the most important thing that I can do myself is I like to buy my games on disc, for example, or my movies on disc, and I'll continue to do that, and I hope I can push that a little bit more on this channel down the line, because I am a big fan of physical media. and that's kind of what I want to make today. You guys tell me in the comment section below what you guys think of this topic. Do you guys actually prefer to buy games on disc, or do you prefer to buy games on digital storefronts? If you guys like videos like this and you want to know more about movies, video games, make live streams or recordings, I do highly recommend that you please press the subscribe button for more videos. I'm really excited about this channel, and I've been really enjoying making these type of videos, especially ones that I'm really passionate about. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.